Hi everybody, join me today as we take a look at the new Fleischmann Roco Z21 digital system. This digital command control system supports multiple command buses and features a really cool and free smartphone app interface. So, let's run some trains with the Z21. The basic set that we're reviewing includes the Z21 command station, a router for wireless Wi-Fi operation, and a main power supply. Now, as I mentioned, the command station features multiple command bus connectors. These include a CAN bus, which you can use for Zemo components. There's a LAN connection, which you use to hook up to a computer, or in our case, the router. And we also have X bus, R bus, L bus, and B bus connectors. And there are also two additional X bus connectors on the front. And this makes sense because that's the protocol that Roco uses for its own line of tethered, wired, and Wi-Fi throttles, which are all compatible with the Z21, as well as lens components. The Z21 is really plug and play. To run trains, pretty much all we have to do is, I'm going to take this supplied screw terminals and I'll plug them into the main track output. Then I'll go ahead and plug in our main power supply. And then, because we'll be using wireless a little later, I'll go ahead and plug in our router. Now we're ready to run some trains. So as you can see, I have our Digitrax throttle plugged into the L bus. So we're going to go ahead and run 1175 here. Okay, so we'll go ahead, we'll turn on our light. The bell ringing, sound off, move on out. Now, we don't have any Roco throttles in-house at the moment, but we do have some lens throttles. And these are actually also fully compatible with the X bus. So let's go ahead and use that. All right, so let's get our lights on, ditch lights on. We'll get our bell ringing, sound off. Move out. Now for me, what really makes this system special is the free Z21 app, and that's available for iOS and Android devices at the Apple App Store and Google Play respectively. Now I've gone ahead, I've already loaded it onto my Android smartphone, and the first thing we have to do is simply connect to this network. So now I've gone ahead and opened the Wi-Fi settings on my phone. This TP link, that's the one we want. It may also say Roco Z21. So all you do is you click on it. I already have it auto-configured so it connects automatically, but the password is actually written on the bottom of the router, so it's real easy. So we'll go ahead, we're in there. And now all we have to do is open the app. And now that we're in this is the main screen of the menu. It'll look a little different on a tablet. But you have your vehicles, and these are all of the locomotives in your locomotive library. It comes with a bunch of European prototype stuff that Roco Fleischmann makes in their train sets and stuff. But the cool thing is you can go ahead and load your own locomotives, and as you can see here, I've gone ahead and made an entry for 1175. You can even upload a picture. You can set speed steps and some advanced information here. There's one for 702. Same deal. Another really cool thing, if we go back here, you can set up function control really easily, and you can configure the keypad to look just however you want it. They even have icons that you can pick. So say when you go into like a switching mode speed, you can have this cool little turtle there. So you can set up the functions very easily. Other things that you have is you can go ahead and here's your programmer, which is just like any other CV programmer. You can read CVs. There's a separate programming track output. You can use this for layout control. I don't have anything set up here, but this is where you would go and you can set it up to trigger things like decoder equipped turnouts or other accessories. So it's a very powerful app. It's very easy to use. A couple of things I should mention: it also supports Roco camera locomotives, and it also includes some driver's cabs for locomotive simulation. Those are all mainly European prototypes, and you can only use that on the tablet version. But for our purposes, right now we're going to go ahead and use the app to run number 1175. All right, so the first thing we're going to do, this button here that says steering, that'll take us to our main throttle. And you can see our locomotive library is across the bottom of the screen. So we'll scroll over, find 1175 and select it. And we'll go ahead, we'll turn on our light. Ring our bell. Sound off. Head on out. Now, in addition to running individual locomotives, it's also really easy to set up MU consists with the Z21. In fact, you can even set up the system so that it'll automatically speed match the two locomotives for you. Now, I'm going to show you how I MU'd MRNT 1175 and Whistler 702. The first thing I did, though, is I set up a stretch of test track about 4 feet long, 3 feet long. The interval doesn't really matter as long as it's the same. And then I timed each of the locomotives at several speed steps, like speed step 1, speed step 7, speed step 14. I did about 5 intervals all the way up to 128. And then I took those values for both the speed step and the time, and I entered them into the entries on the Z21 app for each individual locomotive. All right, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to set up our consist. It's referred to as a train in this case. So we'll go ahead, make a new train. Just call it train 1. We can even go through and take a picture. All right, now we'll go ahead and add our locomotives. 75. Add 702. So now that we've created our consist, or train, as it's referred to by the app, go back to steering, and it should appear right down here. All right, so now that we have our consist set up, we'll run them together. I've left a little gap there so that you can see that they are indeed speed matched. Let's go ahead and turn on our light. Start our bell ringing. Sound the horn. Let's move out. The Roco Fleischmann Z21 is a plug-and-play system that's simple enough for a beginner, yet features a long list of sophisticated features that should satisfy more advanced model railroaders. It also offers plenty of opportunities for expansion. For more on the system, be sure to check out my review in the May 2019 Model Railroader magazine.